Great challenge.
Maybe I need a desk job.
Hello guys, I'm Rosemary. I'm here with the awesome HD Philly B, and we're gonna take a look at Spacecadets versus Team Y. This is
We're still We're still here on the NA side of the bracket, Rose. That's absolutely right. The Spacecadets, a team you may want to know about, folks. They are up and coming. A lot of Paragon level players on this. They are led by their carry Dazzy, and that's one we'll have to look out for.
And this is also a best of one, so when you win, you're in. When you lose, you go to the loser bracket. We're gonna see how they are gonna do.
Yeah, it's these best of ones are always my favorite, Rose, just because you never know what you're gonna get the off lane. Maybe we have a mage or maybe a carry in the off lane. Maybe your jungler's a little off kilter, right? It's just whatever you can do to get that win and move yourself on to the next part of this bracket. Nobody wants to put themselves in the loser's zone because then you have a chance of going home. So you gotta win to move on.
Yeah, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. I agree. We got a draft coming up.
This is gonna be difficult for Team Y, Rose, just because the Spacecadets, their hero pools are so very deep. I was looking at Dazzy, I was looking at Seek. These are players that I've seen before, and it's so hard to ban them out, right? There's just if you take out the Twin Blast, well, they'll play the Murdoch. You take out the Sevrog, they'll play the Greystone or whatever, and they'll play it well, and that's the issue. So these ban phases for Team Y are going to be critical to really try to hone in what they want their strategy to be in this game.
Yeah, we see the jungles being focused here, the assassins. I think these are good picks for the bands. I would see them as well in my ranked matches. Kalari can just dominate a match if they're going up against squishies. It's gonna be free kills everywhere. And with the Boris as well, like the Boris can just launch you into the air, smack you to the ground, and gone you are. Good luck with escaping.
That's right. And we saw how good the Boris was in the previous match in the EU side. So the Space Cadets kind of going from these more meta bands, right? Taking out the Wraith, who's very strong, taking out the Boris. And then Team Y, like going for the Kalari, right? The Assassin, this is Prey on the side of Space Cadets, known for their Assassin play in the jungle. Can play some of those fighter characters, but really likes the Assassin. But we're seeing the Angel come through first. I like this Seraph pick to open it up.
Yeah, the Seraph pick is a good pick. I think it's a solid pick, and as you said, with the assassins going around, Seraph can, once she gets rolling, she will start rolling even more.
Big snowball potential for sure, Rose. And speaking of some snowball potential, the Shinbi and the Zarus, known for their scalability. The Shinbi is an interest. I told you, these best of ones, there's going to be interesting picks. Like Shinbi, we don't really see that much, especially in the jungle. We even saw Shinbi mid lane, I think, a couple games ago. But I feel like this will be a Shinbi off lane, try to poke out some of those fighters that position is known for.
Yeah, I think so too. I have seen Shimmy now more often again in my matches. For a long time she's been gone, but I feel like she's doing a little bit better now. And she sometimes even feels a little bit tanky while she outputs a lot of damage as well. The Saris, I think, is a really solid pick, really strong character. Can lock them down, especially when they are going up against the Liga and the Argus with not much mobility going on.
They definitely, Shinbi needs that lockdown help, right? She wants to get in there and fight, got the shield, has the wolves, but doesn't really have any lockdown. So if you get her in the cage with the Zarus, that feels pretty good. And speaking of lockdown, Rose, Team Y have that in spades. The Bellica and the Argus working together, so some pick comp coming out here for Team Y. And this is a flexible kind of pick, right? Argus could go mid, Bellica could go mid. They could either go support as well. I feel like it'll be Argus support, Bellica in the mid, because that's what we've been seeing recently. But, you know, that's a good way to keep the other team guessing, especially because they haven't picked their mid laner yet.
Yeah, that is right. And I think Argus support is, in my opinion, not that powerful. I don't think the Argus can do much. Once he misses his stun, it's, yeah, a little bit. What are you gonna do? Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Especially with these mobile characters, Rose, like the Shinbi and the Zarus, who are just zooming around, they're dashing. So if you miss the Dread Nova, you're just like, uh-oh, and then you're in real trouble after that. But we're seeing a few carries being taken off the board. That's a Revenant and a Murdoch. Just see you later.
Yeah, that's right. Because they just picked their own carry, so I think they are trying to make Y not be able to play a really good matchup against the Twin Blast. Revenant being able to root, of course, that's not gonna be nice for the Twin Blast. Yeah, and we see on the side of Y, we see the Sings, we see the support being targeted and the mid lane being targeted. And we see the gadget coming out. Together again with the Saris is a really good combination. But it doesn't say everything. We have seen last match that it didn't work out that well either.
That's true. Ease of execution is usually what you want to do in best of ones if you can, and usually the microwave comp is a tried and true. People have played it multiple times, right? Coliseum with the Tesla Dome, but as you mentioned, Rose, not always effective. You still have to coordinate as a team to layer those ultimates in tandem to get some work done, and that'll be a strategy for Team Y. Can we force out the Tesla Dome early, or can we force out the Coliseum early, etc., so they can't utilize those big ultimates in the objective pits? And wait a second, what is this? An Iggy? Is this mid lane? Is this support? Is this off lane, Rose? What?
I don't think this is looking so well for Y. I'm not gonna lie. They do have stuns. I do like the stuns going on around there, but they don't have any tanks. Like, this is gonna be hard. Like, oh, and there we got the Richter coming up. I don't know,
That's
Billy.
big, so It's tough, Rose. This is tough. Yeah. How is this Sparrow going to survive, right?
Yeah.
If you were gonna pick this composition, you need a more mobile carry. So maybe like a Skylar, so maybe a Kira, something like that can kind of shift around the fight. I feel like this Sparrow is a sitting duck, and especially with a character like Richter, you can just rip Lasher. There's no beefy targets to step in front, or the Zaris and Shinbi zoom their way to the back line. So I don't know. This is an interesting comp here for Y, for sure.
Just imagine for a second that the Iggy is gonna be support. They're just gonna be pulled all the time by that Richter.
That's tough. But I like the Iggy in a sense that they've been doing a lot of this magic damage, right? And kind of shredding through some tanks depending on how they're building with Vesh and stuff. So there's some potential there, maybe protecting the backline with turrets. But I don't know. This is still risky comp for sure.
Yeah. Do you have anyone you're rooting for, Philly?
I like the Space Cadets. I think that's just a tried and true comp. A lot of electricity, a lot of sparks on that team. So I think I'll put my eggs in that basket for now.
I would say that as well. And that is why I'm gonna go for Y. I'm just gonna go for Y, because why wouldn't I?
That's right, that's right.
Alright guys, so with the draft being said, we'll send it over to the casters.
Thank you so much for that handoff, Philly and Rosemary. Guys, we are here getting ready to go into this game. With me is Dr. Shadow. And Doc, what's up, Doc?
Hey, I guess chat hasn't been eating their apples because I'm back again.
Okay.
It's so exciting to be here. I love PCC, I love Pred, and I love seeing when teams get in the kitchen and they try doing this cooking, even if they end up burning the house, all the heroes that they picked that do a ton of damage. I think the Sparrow was also a little questionable from a pick perspective because they didn't have any real strong peel for the Sparrow. So Shinbi, as soon as Shinbi saw the Sparrow, Shinbi just ran straight at her, got on top of her. She didn't get to play the game. There was nothing for her to be able to do. But Space Cadets, they played that so well, so patiently. They were behind for so long in that game, but the game never felt like it was out of their reach. Like they were in control every second.
Yeah. It really sucks because like Sparrow's a really good character, and the augment that they have, the scaling penetration over time as they get kills, is very valuable. But when that doesn't happen, like what can you really do? Like Connie came a couple of times, but Shadow didn't get any value out of those ganks, those kills. It just wasn't there. When it's late game and as carry you have one kill, what are you supposed to do about that? They have to feed them. That's really like my biggest takeaway, but we have to go and ask the desk what they think about the game.
Thank you so much, guys. Y is definitely saying why Space Cadets. Yeah, it was looking good for Y early, but Space Cadets definitely came online. What are your thoughts, Philly?
And I think Dr. Shadow nailed it on the head, right? He just said there was some patience from the side of Space Cadets. They had a lot of characters that were scaling, like the Gadget, like the Shinbi, like the Zaris. They needed time to get their items, get online. I think at the end, the Shinbi was like 4,000 ahead of the Iggy in that offlane. That's also because of the Eternal, the Ion, right? But they needed that time to get online, and they couldn't weather the storm. Why? They're really strong in the early game. The Argus Snipes was moving all over the place, did so much work, but they just fell short at the end.
Yeah, I also saw some interesting builds going around. I think Sparrow started with Tainted and Iggy had Typhoon. And I gotta say, I haven't seen that before. But overall, yeah, I thought it was a really interesting game to watch. I really enjoyed watching it. And Frog was going at it, like he was 1v4ing and he was trying the best he could.
Yeah, if you got your one shot, right? Don't miss your chance. Do everything you can. Try to make a name for yourself, whether it's good, whether it's bad. We were thoroughly entertained, but I like the builds that a lot of the players were going with in terms of some of the build paths that are opened up because of this patch, right? Mixed scaling and things of that nature. So seeing what the players are trying to cook up here, we'll have some chats about some things, but I did enjoy it overall for sure. And this is what we come to the PCC for. We get to see all these different players try to show up and show out.
Yeah, it's definitely really cool to see. And we actually have some clips for you guys. We're starting off with a quadra kill of the Argus. He was going absolutely crazy over here.
Snipes really impressed me this game, Rose. I didn't know this player at all, and like with a name like Pro Snipes, you better be hitting your shots, and this guy ends up with a quadra kill in the mix of all of this. Look at him speeding right. He just did a Dreadnought at point blank range, and now the Particle Shredder going ham on everybody. I mean, this guy was insane in this fight.
He's just jumping around like the little dwarf. And then he goes up in the air, he's flying, and he's just spamming his particle shredder. It's funny, it's really well done. And the next clip we got is called Smoothend.
Yeah, if you weren't impressed by Pro Snipes' moves there, look at Epic in this one. I mean, we know the Seraph can fly around the map, but this is some crazy move, dodging hooks, dodging Coliseums. This is epic stuff as they're trying to go for this mini prime. Look at them jumping over there, dodging the skewer, and then the Coliseum. They were moving in this one. I think they escaped away from Seek as well. I mean, this was just insane stuff.
Yeah, this was really crazy. The amount of ults that Sarah dodged there and got out of and dodged the hook and everything. Like, I really don't know how you have done that, but that was great. That was really well played. Next up, we got the Fang fight.
And we talked about, Rose, how it was really for this Team Y. They were great in the early game, and then around this 17, 18 minute mark, it was all the Space Cadets, and they just closed out the map. Frog getting poked out early in this one, and then Dazzy with about a 3-item spike. He is just lasering people. I've never seen the Ventilate do that much damage, Rose, and he's just cutting through everybody. Pro Snipes tries to dodge with the Crystal. That's a great movement from him again, but in the end will fall, and this is where the beginning of the end for Team Y and Space Cadets. They just kind of controlled the game from there.
Yeah, he just went up on that wall. He was just chilling on that wall for a bit. It looked like he was about to get stuck over there. And then he dropped down and he was like, oh no, now I'm dead. Let's take a look at the bracket update, guys.
Yeah, we've been moving through it, Rose. There's been a ton of action on this NA side. So we've had these best of ones in round 1 and round 2. This is round 2 is where we'll see a lot of the fan favorites like Googly Goons, like Team Suns, right? C4, which is the new M10 rebrand. So a lot of those teams that you know, the players that you know, will be showing up in this round 2. So you should be looking forward to that. And then we've got our best of 3 qualifiers. And so basically, if you make it to round 3, Rose, you've made it to the next weekend. So that's kind of the goal for everybody right now.
Yeah, that is something to look forward to. And I hope it's going to go well for the players, and it's always nice that they still have a second chance to make it up the ranks.
Yeah, I love a double elimination just because, you know, sometimes everybody needs a warm-up, right? Even the casters, we need to warm up a little bit. The players need a warm-up game or two. Yeah, they play some ARAMs before, but getting on the main stage in the spotlight can always give you the jitters. So it's like, okay, double elimination, we have some practice. Let's get our heads on straight and let's try it again. So a lot of teams in that lower bracket fighting for their lives.
Yeah, it's really cool to see that they can still make a comeback. I would like that as well. If I would participate, I would like to have a comeback. But I think it feels extra rough as well if you would then also lose the ones in the loser brackets.
Yeah, it's tough to lose the losers bracket, but we have to whittle it down somehow, right? We have tons of teams out here vying for a part of that $14,000 prize for EU and NA, and so I'm glad these teams are showing up, showing us what they can do, and getting the community involved, Rose. Like we always talk about, the PCC is really to bring folks together for the love of Predecessor, and that is why we show up. So I'm glad these teams are helping bring that community together by participating in the event.
Yeah, it's also awesome to see. I've really enjoyed watching these matches, and we got some more matches to come for you guys, but we're first gonna send it over to
on hit and going against the tanky Chimera, right? Kind of just have to build an anti-heal here is really the big thing, and kind of fight around the Adele is where this bad timing team is looking to do.
Also has a good ability to continue to pursue and chase down these more mobile heroes like the Shinbi, like the Howitzer, can kind of stay on top of it. F6, these drafts are completed. I just gotta ask you, is this Tekken Kid on the off-lane Cloth Hermes first Chimera? I would love to see that.
Yeah, I could see it.
That would be so awesome.
I'll give it a 90% chance, but there's a 10% chance that it's a Chimera in the jungle.
Well, if it is off lane and we get to see Tekken Kid with the Claw of Hermes first, RIP to all your solo queue games later today when your off laners are trying to do this, and maybe not to the success that Tekken Kid may have, but I can't wait for this game one. We've got two incredible casters willing and ready to take us through it. Philly, Shadow, the stage is yours.
Thank you, gents. Oh man, Doc, it's been a long time coming. That last game seemed to last forever, but we are here now and ready to rumble for our final set of the day. It's slated to be a good one.
Yeah, this is going to be super exciting, and honestly, I am hoping for all of your solo queue games, as Lance said. I'm hoping that this is not an off-lane Chimera, because that would be chaos. But also, we love to see some cookery, and if you're going to cook, this is the time to do it, so who knows?
Yeah, with all the Eternals coming out, right? And all these build paths, the different scaling. That's been my favorite thing, is the different scaling paths with magical scaling now on like Chimera and Zarus and Akron and things like that, right? So it feels good. But Doc, no time to talk about that now. We're going into Suns versus Bad Timing. Now, Bad Timing, they've always been a team that's been around. Sometimes they exist, sometimes they dissolve, but they're back here for the PCC, the Summer Summit.
Yeah, Bad Timing. It's really nice to see them together in this capacity. Switches, I know, has been on and off. He is a very well-known jungler. I know he was present for many of the PCCs, but then there were a couple where I feel like I didn't see him around as much. So I'm excited to see him back. I know I've dropped him a couple follows or watches on Twitch as well. Yeah. So it's exciting to see these people kind of come back to the game and keep playing the game. In the case of Vecron, Chicken, or Vecron, Chicken, all them. So it's good, but I gotta say it. We just had the scoreboard up. I gotta say it. Lawless in chat said after last game, after that 59-minute banger, everybody's gonna have Zyrus. Lo and behold, we have 5 Zyruses in this game. That's 50% of the heroes on the map have decided we are gonna scale with the more minions that we kill to not allow that to happen again.
And we appreciate that Tekken, or the Suns, and Bad Timing, and really showcasing this new Eternal, Doc, right? We saw it was Lotus for the longest time when the Eternals were released, that people were like, this is the best scaler, we get all these stats, so on and so forth. But now with they front-loaded some more of the damage to Zyrus. The reason why people didn't pick it is that there wasn't any damage up front. You really had to wait to the late game for it to come online. It's just not worth it. Now with that 4% up front, it feels better to have this online. But I really want to look at the junglers, and I thank TDM for spotlighting it, because Idrisil on this Chimera Grady, that is an interesting pickup.
Yeah, the Idrisil, I really like it. He's owning his role as a core frontliner. So we'll get to this conversation about Adele, pirated by Vecron here, in the support role as being the only real frontliner on the side of Bad Timing. But Grady, he's owning that role as someone who's going to have a lot of money, a lot of resources, a lot of levels, and be able to do that frontline job better, faster. And I really like that. It's a really selfless way of playing the Chimera hero. You could go, I don't know, Vermis or Lotus or whatever, but he's serving a role on his team, and I absolutely adore that. And I think it's really cool too, seeing the Frost Snap coming out. There's the minor blessing that gives him plus 10% damage when a target is immobilized or slowed. There's a lot of that on the map. Like coming out from his team, on top of the fact that you have the ability to jump on somebody and slow them. So he's going to be doing a lot of damage, but he's also going to be really hard to kill. So excited to see that. On the side of Bad Timing, though, Vecron, a lot of pressure on him. He's the only beefy frontline.
Doc, there's a lot of pressure in this duo lane. Grady was hovering here. Now Switches dives in. They know the win condition comes down to these carries. Even Soul Reaper wants to get into the fight here. What the heck is happening? But it is Bad Timing who need the right timings. You feel like they have to get these snowballs going, like the Countess, like this Seraph. They can be incredibly powerful, but they need to get ahead. And this Seraph running the Mara, which we don't always see. The big part is that minor blessing with the Roses, the takedown, getting the 20 bonus gold per takedown. They really want to get involved and get in these fights.
Yeah, I mean, that is Switch's playstyle. He's a very active, very aggressive, heavy pressure jungler. You can see he started to recall over in that duo lane, and he actually canceled it because he's going to jump into the duo lane here to try to apply some pressure, and it's going to pay off because they're going to get the first blood in the duo lane. Although he doesn't get the first blood, he gets participation, and that proves our point, right? He has to be heavy pressure in order for that minor blessing to pay dividends. The more engaged he is in the game, the more money he's going to get. The more money he gets, the more items he gets. The more items he gets, the more he snowballs. And that is exactly what Sereth needs to do to be relevant. So Switches has put all of his eggs in the basket. It's unfortunate Vecron got the first kill, but you know what? To the point we were making about being a support tank, being the only real strong front line, you kind of need it. So it doesn't, I think in many situations it's not great, but for Vecron, I think it's great. I think it is awesome for them.
100%. Yeah, get some of those bonus health items, really help some of your abilities scale. Then you can take more fights, hopefully win more engagements. But all the while, you always mention how Grady is so tactful, so strategic. And he got both of those seedlings there. Doc's okay, maybe didn't get the first blood, but he got a ton of gold and experience for himself and for his team. So fantastic recognition of, okay, maybe I'm not on this side of the map, but what else can I get? What else can I trade out? And does some fantastic work. But this Sereth is maybe diving in again, seeing no seedling home. Might want to be hungry for something else, but Soul Reaper just poking from a distance. I mean, with the Eviscerate Minor Blessing on this Zyrus, doing a ton of damage to targets who are at pretty healthy health.
Yeah, that's a great call out. Grady, again, one of the most disciplined. I mean, his philosophy is just different from a lot of other junglers. It seems like he picks fights, but there are a lot of really smart fights. He very rarely will pick a very bad fight, trying to stretch. He has a really awesome sense of, if I make this rotation, is there a 90% chance or higher that I get the kill? If not, I'm not making that rotation. And I think that's what sets him apart from a lot of junglers and makes him so successful in the jungle. So to your point, getting the seedlings, his philosophy is that is more important than a kill here and there across the map. And we'll see. We'll see if it pays out. If they end up winning game one, then who knows? Maybe it's all Grady's. All the pats on the back go to Grady. But one thing we didn't talk about yet was the Zyrus being picked up on both mages in the mid lane. Yeah. We can talk about how there's a Shinbi in the off lane with the Zyrus, but in the mid lane, day one when the Eternals came out, I was like, the major blessing is built for mages, but all the minor blessings were not built. Toasty getting burned down. Yeah, he is going to get fried by Chicken's rad rounds there. And actually, this is going to be Lakeinator getting in a tough spot. He should be safe underneath of his tier 1. Yeah, he's going to be okay. Oh, Techie gets a solo bolo.
Doc, now it's starting to ramp up, right? People are getting their ultimates online. They really want to fight. It is NA after all, so we're seeing trades killed across the map. And this is Grady now making a rotation, but he feels like he's by himself. He goes for the ambush right on top of the main person. That is Chicken, forced to blink away. And from downtown, Lakeinator gets the snipe.
Lakeinator gets the kill. He gets a creep wave under his tier 1 tower as well. And Chicken burned his blink to get all out of that pressure coming out from Grady. So Grady's saying, I didn't get the kill, but man, that was more worth it than I could have possibly imagined. On the flip side, though, bad timing. They see Grady show himself in that duo lane with that pressure, and they are going to look to get this first mini prime of the game. Soul Reaper looking to just be a little thorn in their side here. I can't make an Adele pun, though, unfortunately.
Soul Reaper takes to the skies and unleashes a salvo of missiles, puts in a ton of damage. A few members low, mainly Pablo here. I thought the Orb Prime was going to finish him off, but now the reinforcements have turned and they're focusing on to Tekken. As the fireworks explode, so too does Blub as they are felled, and now more bodies continue to drop here in the off lane. It's a massive turnaround for the Suns.
I think Tekken just got a triple kill. I'm waiting for it to pop up on the screen. No, Soul Reaper got the kill on the Pablo. Okay. So that was interesting set of circumstances. Grady, all while that is happening, jumps on the Chicken and gets a kill over in the duo lane. Vecron has left his carry over in the duo lane and is in dire straits over here. Are they going to be able to poke him? I guess we'll only find out, but that was a disastrous play there, and really off the backs of awesome pressure coming out from Soul Reaper. He shows up to be the thorn in the side, and actually in many cases you're hoping to do that to pull them off of the objective, to kind of bait them away, and it worked out for Suns. He successfully pulled them off of the objective. They denied the objective from them. Well, at least for the time being, and they get 4 kills out of it. So this bloodbath is slowly very much favoring the side of Suns. They have almost a 2K gold advantage at this point in time across the map. So they're feeling very good and in control right now.
Doc, they had to focus something. Do we want to go for the kills or the mini prime bad timing? And you feel like maybe they could have got the mini prime and got out of there, but instead they get nothing. And so bad timing in for a bad time for sure as they find themselves behind. And now Grady says thank you very much. He'll start the mini prime up himself and go for it. And Soul Reaper will join the fray on that regard. Lakeinator just having a little tea party here himself, just kind of figuring out how to scale into this game. But I'm looking at Switches, man. He's got to make an impact.
Yeah, Switches, there's a lot of pressure on him. Again, we talked about the Eternal, we talked about Seraph, and how that hero just in general has to get ahead and stay ahead in order to remain relevant. It's not that he's behind quite yet, but the tempo really is in favor of Suns across the map, and really all off the heels of Grady and Soul Reaper kind of enabling Tekken Kid. Suns is one of those teams that loves to empower their offlaner, just like we saw in the previous game with Lauber getting empowered by his teammates, right? Tekken is very similar. I mean, they're in my opinion, other than the fact that Tekken's not Swedish to my knowledge, they're basically twins.
They do like to play through this side, and oh my gosh, the feast has to come out from Pablo under his own tower, but Grady looks like he didn't even take a punch there. He's using the mini prime to full effect. They know the offlane is their win condition, and they're facilitating the Tekken Kid to do it.
Oh yeah, they're going to take that tier 1 tower pretty early, or at least put it into a very bad situation, which is going to enable Tekken a little bit more freedom heading into the mid game to get to the second Fangtooth when it spawns in about 2 minutes. Soul Reaper, though, get the Tesla Dome dropped on him. He's going to be forced to kind of fly away here. He's not going to be in any immediate danger, but that's 2 big ultimates used up in the mid lane, and that is Soul Reaper's escape as well.
Uh-oh, and Chicken won't be able to escape. He takes a shotgun blast to the chest, and he is put down. Vecron, where are ya? He's in the jungle on the 2 camp and not with his carry at the moment. Bad timing. They just seem to be separated all over the map here, Doc. They're not playing as a cohesive unit.
Yeah, it feels very disjointed just looking at kind of the mini-map movements, where they are, at what time, who's moving where and when. It feels like there might be some miscommunications coming out from bad timing, but that can't underscore how clean Suns are playing this right now. I mean, it seems like they have... it doesn't just seem this way, but they have been practicing and playing together a lot. They've been scrimmaging, they've been... theory crafting and working with each other to improve their communication and their mechanical skills, and it's clearly showing because they are all in sync when we look at their rotations around the map. And you gotta wonder, what can you do at this point if you're bad timing? I mean, you have to find a fight, you have to force an error, but at this point it's becoming very, very difficult because, I mean, the scoreboard's 7-2, but it feels like it's 14-2.
The challenging part here, Doc, is like, teams need to have a clear strategy. The Suns, they know they want to play through their off lane, and while they are doing that, Lake has a bunch of space to just farm up, and then eventually when his time comes, he can carry the game, right? Toasty's there to keep him safe. If he wants to rotate, he can. He'll facilitate across the map. But bad timing, what is their strategy? Who is their star player they're trying to work for? If it is Chicken, they need to protect him more, and maybe with an elimination onto Grady, that would be a great start. It's a full-on brawl in the river. Let's rumble, everybody. But being locked down by the call is the Angel. Can switch this one away? No, Lakeinator, another shotgun blast will put him 6 feet deep. The jungler's dead.
Jungler's dead. Vecron's on the retreat. They get Toasty out of this after that Tesla Dome is dropped down, but Soul Reaper's arrived, and he's making it rain on the Chicken. He is going to be able to finish him off, and that's going to be a 2 for 1. Basically 3 if you count the fact that Vecron had no HP when he exited that battle. But that is a window now for the second Fangtooth. And this is exactly the type of smart fight picking that we talked about that Grady initiated, right? He was over in that lane, or over in that river by the duo lane, because that was the time they had to look for a pick in order to open the door for that objective. So they're going to get that second Fangtooth of the game uncontested. That's going to give them out-of-combat movement speed, and all the meanwhile, though, both tier 1 towers in this offlane have fallen. So there's Tekken is doing great, but Pablo's still very much in this despite being 2 levels down.
Well, maybe not looking as great because he just expended the blink trying to get away. The Shinbi loves to hunt people down. She's the leader of the wolf pack after all. You know, Doc, you and I were talking about, you know, what is it? You have a couple assassins, right? You've got the Countess, you've got the Seraph. Who are you assassinating here on this team, right? Grady, so beefy. Shinbi, so beefy. Toasty, so beefy, right? There's like, it's hard to take anybody down. Maybe Soul Reaper, but he's been so elusive in this mid lane, and so it's very challenging for them to get the kills they're looking for and get that snowball started. So we'll see if they can weather the storm. They've got Xyrus on their side, so hopefully the Eternal can bless them with a victory, but they've got a long way to go before that guy really does some damage.
Yeah, I did misspeak at the very beginning of the game. I said there were 5 Xyruses. No, wait, no. I got that. No, I did the math
Yeah,
correct.
you're right,
Never mind.
you're right.
Yeah, no. Never mind. I was not bad at math that time. But looking at the gold discrepancies across the map, Chicken down about 1 grand, 1,000 gold underneath of Lakeinator, which makes sense because Lakeinator's been involved in 3 kills so far. I mean, 3 very, very clean kills. Make It Rain, though, coming out on the Chicken. This is going to be rough.
Oh, he's the primary target, but the abduct, it doesn't snag him away, and now Stasis is getting incredible value, denying the Tesla Dome, but won't deny the kill. The Heaven's Fury strikes true, and they'll find 2 here. Bad timing. They are looking good now.
That was just a series of unfortunate events. We always meme Soul Reaper for stasis value, right? The stasis actually was great. He weathered the majority of the Tesla Dome, but he blinked into the corner of the wall. He clipped the edge. So, that was a blink value. Yeah, I mean, just an unfortunate event. If the blink doesn't clip on the wall there, he's fine. He gets out, most likely gets underneath his tier 1 tower. But unfortunately, things did not pan out that way. Toasty, he doesn't mind dying if his mid laner survives, but it feels bad when you die and the guy you're trying to save dies too. So that is 2 unnecessary forced errors there, going the way of bad timing. So they're very much still in this game, but it's very challenging. This is still a very steep mountain to climb because this Shinbi is just a ticking time bomb. I mean, again, I feel like we don't see the Shinbi too much in this game, but when Tekken shows up, everybody just dies.
And this is part of this offlane Shinbi. You can play it a couple ways, right? You can just be this constant pressure in the offlane. You're forcing the offlane, your opposing number, to always be in that lane. And so that's taking Countess out of these fights where she wants to try to roll with her team, find these assassinations, and she just can't. And now with this lane priority, they can go right for this mini Prime. Doc, I would imagine it to go on to Tekken again, so maybe they could go for that tier 2. No, it will be Grady instead. Let's see how the jungle facilitates his team.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the game plan here is. I mean, I personally would have liked to see it on Tekken, but I think they maybe felt that there was some pressure with Countess looking at them to make sure that Grady could hunt it. But Lakeinator seems to be in danger. There are 4 converging on him, and he's going to be encircled around his tier 1 here. Tesla Dome drop.
Wow, okay, nowhere for him to run and hide, but Blub cannot see anything as the lights have been turned out, and that's just Toasty coming to the aid of his carry player. I mean, those 2 are like mind melded, Doc. You feel like they've got a telepathic link. They always know where the other's at and how to link up, and that's just good support work there from the Morn.
I do want to shout out bad timing there, though. They know that they need to get kills. They know they need to roll some momentum to get back into this game. They saw Lakeinator by himself in the duo lane, and they all converged on him, looking to get that kill that they were so desperate to get, which would give shutdown gold the way of bad timing. But they made the disciplined, correct choice to disengage when the Morn and Grady's Chimera started to approach by that blue buff over near the duo lane. So they made the call to disengage because they knew that they would have been losing at least one as a result of getting Lakeinator. So disciplined play. Sometimes you got to risk it for the biscuit, but I don't think that is where you risk it, you know? Yeah. So just had to shout them out. It looked like they were going to do something, and they made the right call not to.
Well, Doc, let's see if they make the right call here, as now the Fangtooth has arrived, and this could be the 3rd for Suns, and you don't want this team who's already ahead to get the extra buff. But with no Tesla Dome, that's kind of your main tool in these pit engagements. how are they going to dive into this? You feel like it has to be the Adele to go in first and maybe get the Queen's Garden going and get everybody kind of tickled up with the Thorns, but we will see now as the teams decide to lock horn. Soul Reaper has been the primary target. They don't want that salvo to get unleashed. They'll drag him down to the earth, but can they find the kill? No! It's 3, make it 4 on the opposite side that go tumbling, and it's a full-on RGS ace for the Suns.
I don't even know what just happened. I mean, 1 second they're going on Soul Reaper. Next thing I know, Soul Reaper isn't even dead. He tries to make it rain to get away, gets pulled down into the Adele ultimate, but it just isn't enough, and suddenly they just all get evaporated. It looks like Lakeinator gets a double kill. I mean, that was just a disaster of a fight, and I think part of that was based on exactly what you were talking about, heading into that engagement, right? They don't have that dive. They don't have the strong, like, frontline presence. This is the risk you take when you put all your eggs in the support basket, relying on a support Adele to be the person to absorb the damage, to soak it all up. Whereas on the side of Suns, they've got the Grady, they've got the Toasty, they got plenty of beef. And all the meanwhile, Tekken, Shinbi, you just got to ban Shinbi at this point, which I never thought I would ever say in competitive predecessor, ever.
It's scary. I mean, with the obelisk stacks too, Doc, we know how good Tekken is at gathering that crucial resource, and now 3 levels above his opposite number, Pablo, so desperately behind, very difficult for them to find the value they're looking for. So, yeah, it's the front line. I mean, it looks like Soul Reaper was playing tank in that one. It was just taking so much resources away from Bad Timing. They dumped everything into it. Bad Timing, they want to play these skirmishes. They want to find these 1v1s, 2v2s. But can they find Lakeinator? A buckshot will send him into the arm shot. See ya later. Switches to the other side of the map and now right into the waiting arms of Tekken Kid. He's hitting the 1s and the 2s, and he'll find the kill.
Lakeinator and Chicken, though, they are on a 1v1 right now. Woo! Who's going to win this? That's going to be Lakeinator taking the solo bolo against the opposing carry after taking some damage from Sereth. I mean, that's just, if that's not a testament to the state of the game, I don't know what is. That now emphatically puts Lakeinator 3k gold ahead of Chicken. He is, that is a full tier 3 item. And somewhere on the map too, Pablo gets blown up.
Oh. From bad to worse. Well, fortunately, Doc, this is a best of 3. So, that's the Bad Timing can learn from this and figure out the draft, because we know these are all quality players. These are people we have seen in the scene for many years. It's just, I think the draft has got a speck away from. We know Six was saying that Steel would have been maybe a good look here. Put Countess in the jungle, Steel in the off lane, or vice versa, or whatever it is. Just have some more beef, some more lockdown, more stun ability, and they just went with the Ceres instead. So I like the aggression in game 1, knowing you've got one to fall back on, but you can't let everything get out of hand. It's now the Orb Prime looking to be taken, and it is Vecron who's going in by himself, and will die by himself, and nobody will follow him there. And I think, does somebody else go down? Yes,
Switches.
Grady nets a double. It is Switches who goes for the steal and comes up empty. Chicken will be blown up. The fireworks once again. Tekken Kid, he is unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Bad Timing, they're trying to just claw their way back into the game, doing everything and anything. And you could see there Vecron trying to fulfill his role as the frontliner, but he couldn't even get into the pit. He just died. The second he stepped in, he was just dead. And at that point, when your frontline dies, they just turn, they look at Switches, Switches gets evaporated, and the game is emphatically over at this point.
Yeah, I don't think there's much that Bad Timing can do than say, GG, go next, we'll figure out the draft after that. They do march the creeps into the core, force out the Tesla Dome, but Doc, the Tesla Dome is that's like their main team fight tool. They need it in these engagements. Pablo hanging on by a knife's edge. One contagion might tickle him to death. He'll heal up for just a bit. Can they find anything on the retreat here? But I think the level disadvantage, the gold differential is 17,000 between these teams, Doc. I feel like their Suns are just too far ahead.
I mean, is this a product of Suns having 3 Zyruses on their team?
Could be.
I hope not, because I like seeing the variety of Eternals across all these games. Soul Reaper is going to make it rain on the Blub. Blub stands no chance. He gets eviscerated. Vecron's here, but nobody really to follow up.
Well, Switches is trying. They're hacking away. They're swinging away. Chicken finally with some breathing room will find Soul Reaper has been the primary target in each one of these engagements, but the raid boss Tekken Kid is here. He gets himself a triple, and he gets himself an ace, and he gets himself a Game 1 victory.
I mean, that was just Suns playing it clean, playing it perfectly. They're going to snipe just for the disrespect there, but Suns, they played this game so perfectly. Bad timing. They've got to go back to the drawing board, and yeah, we're going to see how they learn from this Game 1 as they head into Game 2.
Whew. That was clinical, and I love that beautiful shot there from our observer Tedium at the end, seeing the long arm of the law go through, even the blink used there from Tekken Kid just to get closer to the core. That was a fantastic Game 1 from these teams, and we know, Doc, both of them will make it on to the next weekend, but it's just about seeding, and it's about pride, right? These teams, they talk all the time in the players' Discord, in their own Discords, in their Twitch chats, or whatever, and they don't want to go down easy like this in one of these stomps, so we'll see how bad timing bounces back. Well, let's send it back to Lance at 6 on the desk.
Shout out Philly and Shadow for that. That is what I like to call the Tekken show. F6. There's not a whole lot to say about this game, but I'd like you to try to find some words for this.
Dominant performance. 2 words just there for you. But no, let's really go into it, right? It's an all-out masterclass of what the Suns did, right? They played to their strengths, like we were talking about, and like Philly and Shadow talking about. Understanding your role is what Grady really did for his team, right? He kind of sacrificed his play style of being that kind of a fighter, right? More of that Bruiser or the assassin type, really being in there, but they were just in there to tank damage, right? The rest of his team came in. Tekken was really the star of that show, especially, we'll talk about it here in a little bit, when he got that triple.
Yeah, actually, that's the one of the first things that we are going to go into here. I normally don't like to just read the names of these things, but this one is called Tekken Gap.
I mean, it's absolutely that way, right? Once you break down this replay, you kind of look at how they kind of had the presence over the War Prime, but here comes Tekken. I mean, Soul Reaper kind of played his part, kind of creating some space, able to just have the amount of damage. And look at that level lead. Already about 11.5, ended up being 2 by the end of these kills. And they just clean up shop as a 2-man, stop the mini prime from being taken. All in the meantime, the opposite side of the map, here's the other half of the Suns just understanding what they needed to do. They're like, yeah, we got this on this side, we got this on the other side. So they pick up an objective and pick up some kills.
And, I mean, that's something that you're just accustomed to seeing from the duo lane of Sons of Tekken. Lakeinator and Toasty, they're like peanut butter and jelly. They've been just together for so long. The perfect pairing. They transcend even Predecessor. They were gaming before Predecessor was a game together. Like, I'm pretty sure that they're like childhood friends or something like that. Like, you just don't get that type of chemistry from just any 2 duo laners together. Right. And you love being able to see that kind of translate into wins down on the Sanctuary.
I mean, they have multiple rings across them just being in that duo lane together, and it's really about their chemistry, right? And it kind of leads into this next one, right? Like you said, you like to say names. This one's called team chemistry, right? Grady understands he's in a bad spot, but it's okay. He understood his role. He needed to be here to tank, and Toasty doing an exceptional job. Look at him play the space, back and forth, kind of peeling, initiating, creating separation. Meanwhile, here comes Lake, just buckshots, end up getting a damage translation, and then eventually, here comes Soul Reaper, how he'd be able to finish him with that damage off.
And Grady, you started off our analysis of that Game 1 by talking about Grady playing his role and knowing what his duties were in that game. You saw the beefiness of that Chimera start to come out. He had the Overlord completed at that point. The health regen was really coming in. The extra HP that he had gotten from farming that up and stacking that up was really starting to come in. And then the ace to kind of put the second to last ace of the game to really start to cement that this one was going down 6.
Yeah, and this is pretty much where you can kind of call GG's, right? His Suns already had a great lead. Kills weren't really that so far separated, but if you look at the levels, it's there. Great epoch value, but here comes that Adele counter we were talking about, right? But you're like, that might be enough. No, here comes Tekken. The Tekken show is back, and it's playing here, episode number 2. Just the amount of damage, right? Just being able to translate throughout that fight. And another kind of version of team chemistry. They understood where they needed to play. They lose one member, but at what cost? To get the ace.
Yeah, and that's like one of the quickest 5 men up to 0 men up I've seen in a long time. You're watching that fight, and it's like, okay, everybody's in here, everybody's fighting, and then you take a peek up at the top right of the screen. It's like, wait, every member of Bad Timing is dead right now. Like, okay, I guess that team fight is over. I guess the game is over at that point. Really was the Tekken show, and I kind of want to start focusing on this next draft. Our casters were talking a little bit about how, like, maybe we ban Shinbi away from Tekken Kid. You and I both know the strength of him as a player. I personally believe that he is unbannable. I think you get rid of Shinbi, he just picks something else up here. Do you think they have any other ideas to maybe make this draft work?
It would have to be focusing on Grady. You want to put him on something uncomfortable, right? If Grady's not able to kind of play into the jungle, you might be able to create some frustration there to kind of put him off his game, right? If he's able to kind of just play the game that he wants to play, right, he fits into his role. But if you kind of take away kind of the roles that he's comfortable on kind of utilizing, you kind of put yourself into that spot, right? If Tekken Kid can't carry, you just kind of ban things out, but it's going to be on the side of the Suns that says, you know what, we don't even want the Shinbi this time. You guys can have it, or you guys can't have it either. So still though, pretty standard bans across the board, looking at just kind of creating that pool, taking the fighters out of the way, and they're still trying to lower that pool of Tekken Kid, taking out the Zarus and the Bale.
And I'm curious if they're going to prio Grady here, get him that Chimera, because I agree with what you were saying about it being a prio, and said they're going to go with, probably for Toasty, but there is some flexibility in the Morn pick.
Right, there is, right? Morn can be playing in the off lane. We talk about the prowess of Tekken Kid, right? Tekken show. There's a reason for that. He's also able to pilot this, right? But we talked about this before, how strong Morn is as a support. I think he's the #1 support. We've seen how strong he's able to use his kit in the first game. And there's a reason why he was banned away from Wangle in our previous matchup. But the Boris was now let through. Now a comfortability for Bad Timing. So this might be a little bit of a change to kind of help facilitate them and be like, hey, you know what? Let's be a little bit more on the offensive.
And they did take that away from Switches in game 1, so it gets through. They think it's a high enough priority to be able to pick it in their first rotation. Gonna pair it up with the Mako as well to provide maybe some more peel for Chicken here. The Neon will get piloted by Soul Reaper into this game. Us bald mid laners got to stick together, so I'm always cheering for Soul Reaper.
Always rooting for Big Joe. But it's the Neon coming out, right? I've said this before, but I feel like this is a really good 2v2 champ in the mid lane. Kind of you and your jungler have been able to play around, and I think kind of the chemistry that we've already seen in game #1, this has that kind of facilitation for it. But I love the TB on the side of the Suns. Kind of create an opportunity because Toasty roams a little bit more, keeps Lakenator a little bit safe. He understands, hey, I need to be safe here. Let me pick up the TB. It's probably what Suns are trying to pick out, depending on pick 4 and pick 5.
I feel like that is kind of a staple pick of Lakenator as well. We've seen him pilot this Twin Blast to a lot of success. Kind of got one of his big career highlights at the LAN final while piloting this Twin Blast. Gonna take the Countess off on the side of Bad Timing. I guess they don't want Pablo on it again. Sun's also gonna get rid of this Gideon, who's catching another second rotation ban in this draft.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at what they're trying to do here in Suns. I mean, you can't play it, you just kind of take it out of the game. Particularly the Narbash, though, on the side of the Bad Timing is a little bit unnecessary, but I get it. Maybe you're able to flex that more, like we talked about, so you want to take that off of Toasty. He's very comfortable on the Narbash.
It does feel like that was trying to force this Morn into the support role, I would say. Maybe they like that matchup of the Mako and the Murdoch into that Morn specifically. I guess you can kind of buckshot, try to get away from the Beguile too if he gets too on top of you here. But still need to round these comp out. Greystone, that, I believe, a wonderful pick in order to help with the front line for Bad Timing.
Hey man, if when in doubt, Greystone out. You got the Stone Forge Soul ready to be, excuse me, ready to be utilized at any moment.
And still need to put I would say they still need to put the front line together on the sides of Sun. Really only have that Morn, who's not going to be a great, primary tank for you. They will pick up the Grux, which I really like seeing. I'm assuming this is going to Tekken Kid, so still need a jungler to round this off. The Chimera, who Grady performed very well on in game 1, is still available and able to be picked up, and instead, it looks like they're going to go the route of the Quang, so flexibility on the side of Suns, like, pretty severely right now. We're probably not going to know who's going where until we get onto the Sanctuary.
Yeah, no, this one is definitely all comfort picks all around, right? I've even seen Tosi play Grux support. So, I mean, there's a lot that can be flexed through here, like you said. So this kind of keeps a lot open. But with the Bellica being placed here, that's going to be the full round out of this bad timing team. I like Bellica. She lacks mobility. But onto the side of things, right, she has a very high damage output. She's able to burst anybody down. That's being able to put there. So that's going to be very flexible. She just has to be careful when she utilizes her blink and how she's going to be able to try and get out of some of these sticky situations, like getting tethered, mezzed, or pulled.
And we've been seeing kind of a resurgence and change in the way that some people are building this Bellica. I've seen her go like full mana drain. I've seen her go catalytic drive first so that she can just execute the minions as they come down. Like, a lot of potential in order to be able to do this. I was also talking to Haru earlier. Apparently Pablo, very, very proficient. We did see him in the off lane in the last game. Maybe they do a little bit of shuffling that way, but I think that if I had to choose one of these drafts, not knowing who was playing and what it was, we're just like in a solo queue game, I think I lean BT's way as far as what they've put together.
Yeah, I mean, it's very easy to execute Calm. You're looking to kind of follow the Boris into a lot of these fights. He's able to get a very early game priority of any kind of matchup he's going into. Just has to be careful against that Grux with that sustain. We'll be able to fight that double pain healing, kind of gives that threshold of battle health versus health. But the Morn, I think, is really going to be the catalyst to kind of everything that happens onto the Sanctuary once we get into there.
The drafts are locked in. Winner of if Suns wins this game, they get to advance to next weekend, and BT will have to play tomorrow. Otherwise, it forces us into a game 3 for our potential last match of day 1. Philly, Shadow, go ahead.
Thank you, fellas. That was great work there on the desk. And Doc, we've got some things to think about, but I love this identity from Bad Timing where they want to play high tempo. They were trying to do that last time with the Saris and the Countess, but this time now with the Boris, that is really the tip of the spear. They want to be on these objectives early.
Yeah, I love what I'm seeing. I agree 100% with what Lance said on the desk. If I was looking at these drafts based on just the heroes included within them, I think Bad Timing takes this 10 out of 10 times. They really, really did evidently learn after their game 1. They've adapted very clearly by having a front line, by having a very clear plan in place to be able to sustain in these fights, in these engagements. And there's a lot less pressure to make like A, B, C, D, E, F, G things happen in order to win the game, which is what I think was happening in the last game with that Seraph in the jungle.
For sure. And Doc, as we have TDM once again going through the scoreboard, taking a look at the Eternals and the Augment, we're seeing a Morrow once again. And I know when the Eternals first came out, you and I spent like 3 hours in a VC just talking through what we think the Eternal pairings might be. And Grux was like the only one that came to mind first when we saw the Marrow, and we get to see it here now on the top level of predecessor play.
Yeah, the Marrow, I mean, really empowers, really amplifies what Grux wants to be doing. Grux wants to be fighting. He wants to be limit testing himself, baiting Pablo, baiting whoever he's 1v1ing into a long engagement, getting them low, while getting himself low, all simultaneously. And Marrow really puts that onto steroids. It rewards him for getting to that point, in an engagement. He has jealousy as a minor blessing, so he does 10% more damage when he has less HP, and he's doing exactly that. The double pain is going to come out, and they're man-fighting double blink, trying to mechanically do it. Tekken, Pablo misses the auto attack, and that's going to be a first blood going the way of Tekken. I mean, this could not have been more perfect. Thank you, Stranger, for writing the script here, and that is the power of the Marrow on the Grux. he's already at like full health again.
Holy smokes. And both blinks leveraged in that fight. I didn't expect Tekken to blink. When he blinked, I was like, holy crap, is he trying to get away? No, it's just a repositioning tool so he could take the fight. We have Grady on the Kwong, and I've loved to see the resurgence of Kwong. He's one of my favorite characters, and maybe he might not live to tell the story of this as Switch's Fury swipes onto him, and they will chase him down. But fortunately, Soul Reaper is here to usher him to safety. But this is exactly the game plan for Bad Timing. They want to be quicker around the map, and now Switches, he's going in again. The Mesmerize is here. Toasty is available to protect his team, and that will be that. Soul Reaper, the kill.
Yeah, I mean, many people don't expect the Spanish Inquisition, but I can certainly tell you Bad Timing was not expecting the Toasty Morn in the mid lane between the tier 1, tier 2 towers. As a result of that rotation, though, Vecron and Chicken, actually, they did not get the blue buff. They tried to steal the blue buff from Grady. As a result of that, they were not successful, and that is actually going to hurt Bad Timing so much. But, Switches, he falls from... they applied that pressure to Grady because, as we saw in game 1, Grady is meticulous and methodical with the way in which he clears the map and shows up in lanes to pick fights, right? He's only picking smart fights, and by invading his jungle, you throw that tempo off, you throw that methodology away, and you force him to play the game that you want to play as Bad Timing. So I really like that. It's just unfortunate Switches got caught out by the surprise Inquisition there.
Yeah, unfortunate indeed. And I do want to highlight Toasty just a bit more because he's going with the Spider-Morn augment, right? So he can jump around the map. Maybe that's how he swung into action so quickly. Doc is the Spider-Man saving the day, because before he went for the Eclipse, right? So, or the Night Stalker rather, so helps the Eclipse, movement speed and all that. This time he wants to be the facilitator in a lot of these fights. Maybe Mez bomb in, then have the tether follow up. So it's hard to execute comp, but they're working it. And Tekken working the 1v1 again. Oh, he smashes and grabs now the Stampede. He's wailing on with the clubs, and he does it again. The single dingle to Tekken.
Pablo is out here trying to just get something, but that's exactly, I mean, he is playing Tekken's game. Tekken has the strategy. He's at 4% HP, and he's like, I don't really care. I can double pain you, and then I'm back at like half HP all of a sudden. So he's Tekken playing the offlane incredible, and Suns are absolutely going to be playing through Tekken, getting him a mini prime. I'm expecting, but got to call it out here. Switches. He secures the right seedling, and we are going to see Chicken and Vecron have made a rotation into the other side of the river to try to get that, but there might be a bigger fight breaking out here.
Ooh, that's a Mako's gift right to the face. That will stun up Soul Reaper for now. There's still scuffle over this seedling for sure, and hopefully Bad Timing can steal it away. And Blub, this is a better pick for them on this Belica. We were curious how that mid lane matchup was gonna go, if who has the advantage in it, but now the seedling, that has been the priority. Will anybody be able to get the hunt secure? It's so tough to tell. Looks like the teams will back off for now. The Fangtooth, though, has arrived in Sanctuary.
Yeah, Fangtooth has spawned. Soul Reaper has a slight gold advantage because of those early game shenanigans, but Love, he's going to blink forward, miss the seismic assault, and gets abducted under the tier 1 tower. Soul Reaper was limit testing here, baited out a blink and into a kill there, and that is going to be Bad Timing, losing their mid laner, losing any sort of opportunity to make a rotation for that Fangtooth, and it does appear that Bad Timing has made the call to disengage and look elsewhere for opportunities.
Oof, we were just highlighting how that mid lane was going to go, and I was saying, like, okay, you feel like Belica kind of has it in the first couple levels, and then once the full kit combo for Neon comes online, she can be very elusive with the erasing vector, with the final thread, just dances in the mid lane, and using your blink to try to close the distance, that's, you got to make sure you get the kill there for sure. And they're going on to Tekken once again with the Warlord's challenge called into action. Will force the blink from Switches, but he says, get over here, with a smash and grab, and a Mez Bomb will pull the Greystone maybe to his doom, but fortunately some shifty work from Bad Timing to get out of that terrible engagement.
There are 4 now on the side of Suns over by this mini prime pit. I'm surprised that they're not making the call to get onto that, especially given how low Boris and Greystone are. I think this could be a win. Well, actually, mini prime even up. No, sorry,
No,
my
7
sorry,
minutes.
my screen is blurry, so that's on me. That's a me problem. But that could have been the perfect opportunity had all of that transpired like 10 or so seconds later. But I mean, Tekken, he's level 7. The guy is just an absolute monster already, and it's only 7 minutes into the game, which is absolutely psychotic. Blub might be in danger here because there's a Toasty lurking nearby. But Mako is also converging on the mid lane. There's going to be some spice coming up. I can almost not feel it because never mind.
The stun does miss, and we're going for another 1v1 engagement. The Stoneforge Soul will be called into play, but Tekken is wailing on to Pablo. And look at all the damage he's doing. He's waiting for the double
the
blink! The blink! He's got a sixth sense, this kid. Dodges the long arm of the law.
That had to have been the single fastest 180-degree blink I have ever seen in the history of my life. Like that was the fastest button clicking I've ever seen. So I don't know how old Tekken is, but if someone calls him old, they're not allowed to call him old because that is like crazy reflexes. I don't know if he's an old man like some of these other people like myself, but sheesh, that was insane. And something that's important is, you know, it's 8 minutes in and we still don't have a Fangtooth. We still don't have an objective. Neither of these teams has really felt the need to kind of pursue any of those things right now because there hasn't. Yeah, there's 4 kills on the board going the way of Suns, but there haven't really been opportunity kills where a big window opens. Had the mini prime been open in that one situation, that's a whole different thing. But I think it's important to note, like Grady, he has nothing to clear right now on his side of the jungle, so he's going to have to be either looking for something aggressively, or he might have to force the issue at an objective.
And Doc, I'm glad you brought that up because, like, with a Boris, you want to go after objectives. That's what he does. So, like, okay, get onto the Fang, get onto the Mini Prime, take these things away, and taking away the HP bar of Tekken will maybe open up the door for the Mini Prime to be gobbled up, and it needs to go to the Greystone. He's got to get some lane priority back in his favor, but can they secure it here? Switches has to get the hunt and does, but it will mean that the Boris gets buffed in purple, but now a fight is in earnest outside the pit. Tekken is here. The Warlord's challenge. It's blink dodge. Amazing work from the Greystone, but now he's no longer in the fight, which leaves Blub hanging, and there's nothing they can do to get his bubble burst.
Blub gets his bubble burst, but they get the mini prime onto the Boris. Boris had to dip out of there, though. He did not have the Ursine Assault, so that he did not have an opportunity to kind of pick someone out and turn the tides against the Suns. Yeah. So the call to disengage was made, but unfortunately Blub was the sacrificial lamb. Unlucky, I guess, but, you know, yeah, to your point, I think Bad Timing wanted to put it on the Pablo, but the Suns, they had really great pressure, really great aim awareness, rotating to that objective as fast as they did, because otherwise I think 100% it was going on to Pablo to get him back into this game against Tekken, to shut Tekken down, because this guy is still out of control. I mean, he's the same level now, but it doesn't even matter. Meanwhile, Lakeinator, with the help of Toasty, is going to find Chicken over in that duo lane and most likely look to capitalize and get 1 or 2 tower plates, since there's no one to contest them over in that duo right now.
Yeah, Vecron's been trying to make plays across the map. It just hasn't found the right purchase that they need, and they recognize the Fangtooth is started up here from the side of Sun, so okay, let's see if we can steal away something. So they get the red buff, but that's not the best consolation prize for the Fangtooth, and so Grady will take that for themselves, the first on the board. I want to see more from Vecron. Doc, you know, as a support player myself, you've got to be more active here. You've got to help your team out, and Switches is going for it again against the Rhino. Does a bear beat the Rhinoceros? And there it is. The Ursine Impact lifts him up and takes him down. Switches put him on the board.
Oh, that's still scary. Your Switches with a mini prime buff and Tekken Kid almost beat you like that. Yeah. I mean, if that's not a testament to where we are right now, I don't know what is. But that is a fantastic pickup for them. That is a shutdown gold going the way of Switches, getting him into the game now. It is now 6-1. It looks dire for Suns, but it really is not. Because 1 kill equals 3 or 4 normal kills. Grady also in danger here.
This is what I'm talking about for Vectron really getting involved, and now Switches and Pablo have arrived. It's to make way from the Knight. He's hacking and slashing his way through, but the reinforcements have arrived, and Soul Reaper will find the Chitter King in the back line. The nice Lynx is hungry for Rat, and for sure, and there it is from across the map. Engagement participation from the carry, but nobody falls from the long arm of the law, and while Chicken was shooting, he gets shot himself. Lakeinator wins the solo duel again. Soul Reaper, however, on a tear in this fight.
Soul Reaper, we were talking in the green room about him being the one to get bullied in this game because he is so scary on the Neon, and in fact, he is the one doing the bullying right now. I mean, he's not doing anything flashy, but he's getting the kills, which means we're gonna get to a certain critical mass here where Soul Reaper, as soon as he sees Blub or Vecron or Chicken, they're just going to cease to exist. They're quite literally just going to not get to press any buttons. They'll just die instantaneously. So if you're a Bad Timing fan, you've got to be a little bit worried here. All the meanwhile, as you mentioned, Chicken took a nice snipe across the map trying to kill Grady. Got him down to like about 50 or so HP, but because he does not have Vanquisher, it did not kill Grady. And as a result of that, did fall to Lakeinator in that 1v1 over in the duo lane. So all things going extraordinarily well for the Suns. They have momentum across all 3 lanes, and they have the Fangtooth objective, which is it's good for the Suns, not good for the Bad Timing right now. But you can see Bad Timing, they've put down a lot of wards into this blue side jungle around the Fangtooth, so they're looking to really kind of start getting map control in order to prepare. I know it's still many minutes away for the next Fangtooth, but they want to get ahead.
But they can't lose their dual lane, and Chicken will be fried once more. Now the Ventilate is leveraged to find the Chitter King, who is scurrying away. He will fly out of there, but Blub had made a rotation to the off lane and taken the Tekken Kid down, but he leaves his tower exposed here, Doc, and that's Grady says thank you very much.
That's going to be a tier 1 for tier 1, so the offlane tower does fall for the side of Suns, but Lakeinator gets a whole tower to himself, and you know, if I'm going to say which tower's worth the most, it's the one that goes into my carry's pocket. So Lakeinator, I mean, he is firing on all cylinders right now. He's got 2 full items, a Solaris and an Ashbringer. He is in a very good position to just be flash farming creep waves and rotating to join his team now, whereas I don't feel like Chicken has the same capability because he only has a Lightning Hawk and not even a second item. Tekken Kid, trying to fight for his life under his tier 2 here, is just buying time for the boys to show up.
And he does, and so does the Warlord's challenge. Called into action once again, and Blub can't even stand for it. Instant, neither can Pablo. No Stoneforge Soul to save him there, and Tekken Kid, he gets 2. The kid is on fire.
Tekken Kid doing exactly what we talked about. I love when the script plays out, man. He's in a 1v3 at a 3rd HP. He's just saying, come at me, bro. Like, you want to kill me? Come kill me. He baits him into the fight. The boys show up. Toasty and Grady roll in from the fog wall, and Tekken just ends up with, I don't know, 2% HP, and somehow doesn't die, all because of the Eternal that he picked. That is the only reason he is still standing right now. And they take 3 for 0 and get the offlane tower equalized, all into Tekken's pocket. So things are very good. If you're a Suns fan, you got to be sitting there clapping a little bit.
It's a clear game. I love it when teams have a clear game strategy, Doc. They're not playing reactively. They're playing proactively. This is what we want to do, and Bad Timing is just falling into the trap every single time. We do have to highlight Grady, once again, the team captain, playing selflessly on this Lotus Eternal, has the Flawless, which allows him to heal his team when he does ability damage. So if he comes in with these ganks, keeps Grady up even more. Let's see what he can get done this time. Blub with the stasis value, trying to get the Seismic Assault off, doesn't find it, switches, turned into a pelt, and Toasty might be chopped down in the woods. The Guardian will fall. Blub somehow manages to escape a strike there from the Mako, pushes Soul Reaper away, but the primary target was Chicken, and found out. Oh, the Geyser gets him, and that is just disaster in the mid lane.
Oh, disaster for Bad Timing. didn't look good for them, but it didn't look disastrous until they just started splitting up in the wrong directions. Blub stuck on that hill behind that wall, hoping that nobody found him. But Soul Reaper is far too competent of a player. He just jumps up and hits him once, and he just falls. The game is falling apart right now. And I want to go back to what you said about Grady and the selfless play, and I think that is really, I mean, he's enabling his team, right? That healing keeps Tekken in the fight longer and longer. It keeps in that last fight case, it kept Toasty alive just a little bit longer. And I love that. I think that's something that not a lot of players are doing right now. So is it a coincidence that they are taking this game away and they definitively won game one? Maybe, but maybe not. So as a result of that big fight, the second Fang of the game does go the way of Suns. That is going to be out of combat movement speed for the side of Suns, which means all of this activity that we're seeing is now going to be ramped up 8% faster. We're going to see Tekken rotating that much quicker. We're going to see Soul Reaper being that much more active. It's not the make or break third Fang quite yet, but Soul Reaper 1v3 right now at his tier 1 is going to get stuck on the ledge.
What? Okay, has to call on the stasis and maybe getting some value here. Buckshot into the trap and a shutdown onto Chicken. That's exactly what the Colonel ordered for him. And now they're making their way to this tier 2 tower. They give up the mini Prime Dock to take 2 structures in the duo lane. I mean, I think that's got to be a fair trade, all things considered.
That is a pretty, I mean, if you're bad timing team fan, I think that's a pretty good trade. You just... It opened up the entire duo side of the map for yourself, so that's going to be constant passive pressure coming against Suns as the game kind of progresses. Yes, Grady has a mini prime, but yeah, you got to get something, right? And bad timing is finding those somethings. Speaking of somethings, Lakeinator tries to hold that tier 2 as well, but there's Ore on the side of bad timing still hanging around. They make sure they get the tower. They make sure they get the carry. That's going to be Lakeinator falling. Long Arm of the Law, I guess, is going to be shot at Tekken, but, like, okay.
Just to do something, man. I mean, and Tekken is running the augment, right, the Lust for Blood, so when he will heal up after dealing damage with the max blood stacks onto enemies. So that's another reason why he feels confident taking these fights, not because he knows he'll just heal up right afterwards. We'll see if these two go at it once again, but I love the strategy of unlocking this duo side because they know that third Fangtooth, as you mentioned, is the most pivotal one coming up, and they want to have the space to contest it, either getting vision, getting a jungle invade, whatever it may be. Now with the seedlings on the map, can they get a touch of breathing room, man? They are down about 5,600 gold right now, Doc. It's pretty, it's a bad sign, but it's not outwardly like end of the game kind of sign.
No, I mean, we've seen much larger discrepancies overcome, and it really comes down to, again, forcing those errors. Soul Reaper being in that position 1v3, getting caught out. Yes, he got stuck on the cliff, but things like that can't be happening if you want to stay ahead, unless you want to be C4 and take 59 minutes to close the game out. Vecron, though, Vecron is going to get caught in the jungle there. He's going to be chased all the way. Meanwhile, Tekken 1v2ing here, Pablo and Blub, but the Stoneforge Soul comes down. Tekken blinks out of it, gets on the Blub, finishes him, and now they're going to be looking to finish the Greystone.
Oh no, Greystone, get out of there, buddy! And now the Swordsman of the Heavens wants to finish the job and will. Grady with the double kill for himself, and that's all off the back of Tekken Kid doing the work. And look at this, a split push from Lakeinator. He'll equalize the duo lane just about in time for the Fang, but the fight keeps going. Vecron forced to use the strike just to push people away, and these bruisers, these fighters are relentless here, Doc.
Ursine Impact, though, onto Lakeinator isn't really going to do too much. Lakeinator just turns and shoots him a couple times, and he's going to be fine. But I was about to say, someone should probably go slap Lakeinator, make sure he's not asleep right now, because he's just sitting in that duo lane, just killing creeps, pushing towers. Meanwhile, Tekken Kid, Grady, Soul Reaper, they are menaces everywhere on this map right now. I mean, they are just clearly on a different level right now in terms of the communication happening. They're just moving perfectly in sync with one another when things are happening. And that's going to be a Blub in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Well, Switches says, I'll avenge you mid laner, and he'll dive right in, maybe trying to take out the support, but Tekken is here. The Warlord challenge will be slapped and the gauntlet will be thrown down. He'll take down the bear every day of the week. Still hungry for more is this Rhino, as he'll hack and slash against the armor of the knight, who will assault the gates away and get out of dodge this time. But that is a tough fight for Bad Timing having their mid laner picked.
I'm not exactly sure how Blub ended up where he ended up. That was a very unfortunate place for a mid lane Bellica to be.
Yeah.
He falls, switches, again, tries to save your friend. Save your friend syndrome, the #1 cause of death in Predecessor.
That's true.
But he tries to avenge his buddy. He ends up falling as well, and this is now a window. Suns have reset, well, except for Grady. All the rest of Suns have reset, and they are all posturing around Fangtooth. This is the third Fang of the game. This is the big one that gives all their bonuses to all offenses and defenses. So they are going to be that much harder to kill, and they're going to be killing that much faster. Vecron trying to be spicy with Soul Reaper over there, but Soul Reaper's got the zoning mage job on lock, keeping Bad Timing out of that pit.
Well, Doc, they want some more for sure. Toasty leading the charge for the kills. He says, come on, guys, follow me. And he will usher them back to their base. But it's a whole tidal wave of yellow now in this red side jungle. Grady, a touch out of position. They're focusing, but the Klong is pretty tanky. And Tekken Kid stampedes his way to the back line. Will find the kill. And he's going on forward again, this time into Bluff, who has to blink away. But it will be Toasty who will chase him down. The Mez Bomb will be called into play. And there is nowhere for the Bellica to run. It's an almost ace for the Suns. They can take whatever they want.
They can have whatever they want. They are opting for that duo lane inhibitor, and all of that fight off the back of what I would call the most unmemeable stasis value I think I've seen in such a long time. Grady, he's over into that 5 camp. Ursa switches, uses Ursine Impact through the stasis. It misses because of the stasis. Dispositions him. Grady just walks out, he survives, he gets out of that, all while big cooldowns are expended, and all for nothing. They don't get anything. They kill nobody on the side of Suns. Or like, Bad Timing kills nobody on the side of Suns, all because of that. So that stasis, chef's kiss. Grady, that's a top play. Somebody should clip that for sure, honestly. But as a result, they do take that duo lane inhibitor. That is going to be insane passive pressure now. Grady in duress now is going to have Tekken Kid coming in to save him, potentially.
Oh yeah, Tekken Kid, he feels like he can take everybody on at this point, so he says, I'll go for you, Bear, once again, but your sign impact will squish him, and good thing the Lynx will follow it up. It's an Animal House in the pit right now. The Stoneforge Soul really is just a way to get out of this one. The Ventilate will be popped to try to find some kills. Vecron finds a shutdown in all of the mix-up here, but the bodies will continue to drop. This time, Pablo is the one slain in mix of it. The Neural Disruptor goes wide, and Grady dodges another bullet as he stays alive in the fight, potentially takes down the mid laner, and he does.
And that's going to be an ace going the way of Suns. What is that, the third one of the game? Something like that. Grady out here breaking Blub's ankles, and you can tell that just mentally Bad Timing just kind of deteriorated at the onset of that engagement. Blub really out of position, hungry, just trying to get something for his team in that situation, and he ended up not being able to get it at all. Grady just breaking ankles in that backline pursuit. I mean, there's so much that happened there. I mean, I don't even know where to start, but as a result of that disastrous engagement for the side of Bad Timing, this is going to be a window potentially for Suns to start the Orb Prime. There is 10 seconds until Bellica respawns, and it looks like they're going to opt for the Shaper first. So they're going to get the Shaper, Seedlings are going to spawn. That's going to be pressure across all 3 lanes, and that's going to be the window for them to either get a pick, do the Orb Prime, or just straight up start the Orb Prime because they're so far ahead at this point.
I think they will. I mean, they've got the Warlord's Challenge, and they've got the Final Thread if they need it. And so I think those are kind of their big alts that they can utilize in this engagement. We'll see Pablo searching, trying to find what the HP bar is at to have his jungler come in for potentially the steal onto the backline. He dives in, but Mez into the full-on fray, and the true damage from the heavens will strike the knight down. And now switches. He says, okay, I'll be the next fighter up in the line. Goes for Soul Reaper again, but can't secure the kill. Tekken, he'll club the bear in the face and smash him into the turret as they file one by one. The Prime goes the way of the Suns.
Prime goes the way of the Suns, all while Tekken Kid and all while Tekken Kid and Tekken Kid and Soul Reaper are out near the mid lane fighting what seems to be an entire army of bad timing. Yeah. They end up winning that engagement, all while taking that Orb Prime objective, and this most likely is going to be the end of the game with the Orb Prime empowered minions coming in the mid lane soon, and with the Seedling on the left.
Wow. Doc, I did the Seedling, and that's also going to get powered up. What can Vecgron do but just fall to the might that is the Suns, one of the most highly rated teams in the PCC Summer Summit? They win this one easy in 2.
Suns looking like an absolute threat in that game. Bad timing, 5 incredible players. It just felt like communication just was lacking. I mean, they absolutely adapted in the draft, but in terms of how they executed in game, it felt like calls to engage, disengage, move around. It felt like they weren't moving all as one unit in the same way the Suns were. I mean, if you're looking for some of the best predecessor play, go watch that game again. I mean, I hope somebody clipped that stasis from Grady, because I'm just going to say it. 2 games in a row where Grady plays selflessly and they take the game away against 5 incredible players convincingly. Is that
It's not a coincidence anymore, Doc. I don't
think it's a coincidence.
Yeah, it's team strategy. We've seen junglers either be the star that you try to facilitate, they carry the game, or you can have good facilitators like Grady, like Import, who help their team get the victory. And so there's lots of ways to play that very crucial position. Well, that will be it for us for this final game of the day. Let's send it back to Lance and F6.
Thank you to our handsome casters. Usually when a show is good enough, it gets renewed and it gets more and more and more episodes. But the Tekken show, so good, we're only going to get 2.
We're only going to get 2. By the way, you're also handsome as well. No worries. I got you if nobody told you today. But yeah, I mean, like you said, the Tekken show, man. I mean, there's so much to go through, like dissecting the play, right? But let's be real. TLDR, Tekken showed up. The team chemistry on the Suns was just immaculate, right? So they just played well together. Then, I mean, let's just hit these replays. You can see why we just call this one the Tekken show.
It's the Tekken show. It's also, blink and you'll miss it. Both of these guys actually gonna miss after using the blink with the first blood, but it's gonna be Tekken Kid after a little bit of like a whoopsie daisy here. Thinks he's got the space here, gonna blink, miss the auto, but Pablo just says, hey, where you going, buddy? I'll come right back to you. And then directly into this one. This is just like a supreme display of reflexes, right? Stoneforge Soul's out. We're out of mana. We're just to autos. He gets the quick flick 180, the blink, the 180 back, and then collects the rest of the wave. Like, that, I'm old. I'm old. I turned 34 a couple of weeks ago. I don't have the reflexes to do something like that. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, with the flick of the wrist, man, just 180s, you're like, I got to kill. No, you don't. No, you don't. Not today. I mean, that's just immaculate. 2 blink plays that, I mean, there was like 3 or 4 the entire game. We don't have that much time to be like running through every single blink and plays that he was able to do, but it was just fantastic work. And I mean, the show's not over yet, right? We take a look at this next one and you're like thinking of like what's happening. And this is why we call him the Tekken show, right? No HP bar, but you got a double pain. You got Toasty blinking in, but hey, Grux is still here banging, fighting, healing, and just sliver of a health. You're just going out and you change the tide of that fight. BT thought they had something there, but all they had was a Grux Tekken Kid just fighting away.
Yeah, only came into that with a sliver, ended up still being a liver towards the end of it, just gets through with it. F6, I know you like that rhyme, buddy. I think maybe some scouting, some ideas. You've got a week now if you're playing into Suns in this following weekend, as they did just qualify for next weekend's stage. Maybe we do a little bit of scouting, try to find some sort of weaknesses in that armor. I'm not exactly sure this is the tape you want to look at if you're looking for weaknesses in Tekken Kid, because I don't believe he just showed any. And before we continue really quick, I do want to give a shout out just to the rest of Sons of Tekken. We're talking about him because he had, the flashy plays. He was the one kind of standing on his head throughout that. But Soul Reaper played really good. We know what the duo lane's doing. And like as Doc was saying, selfless play from Grady throughout that series. He was really facilitating and doing the things that his team needed to do to succeed. So a well-rounded execution of team comps, drafting, pretty much everything from Sons of Tekken.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the only thing that we haven't heard from is their sixth man, right? AKA Coach Aho. But you know what? We got something for you, as Empress was able to sit down with him.
Hello, predecessor fans. Hopefully the games have been treating you well. I'm Empress Tiramisu, back again with another interview, and this time we are interviewing Aho, general manager for the Suns, and we're gonna dive in. That's what we're used to doing around here. And the first thing I want to ask, you have some pretty heavy names on your team. How are you guys keeping everybody's spirits up? Because when you're a high level player, I feel like it's easy to sometimes be heavy on yourself for even the smallest mistakes. So how is everybody keeping their spirits up?
Yeah, luckily we have a really great group of players. I mean, they're all veterans, so I mean, we're pretty good at keeping our egos aside, just trying to, play the game, play the game the right way. And yeah, I think Toasty is probably one of our better people. If somebody's getting out of line, maybe Grady's mouthing off or something to him, he's pretty good about just bringing everybody back in together. So.
Okay, I love that. Sounds like he's the team's father, the disciplinary.
Yeah, you can say something like that. He is the dad of the team, so.
So in that vein, what steps is the team taking to make sure that they're as prepared as possible? Because it sounds like you have someone there to keep the mentals in check, keep everybody in line. But like when it comes to actually like practicing and making sure that you're as prepared as possible, what does that look like?
Yeah, I think every day we have a bunch of players who really enjoy grinding the game. So on top of just everybody playing the game, we are scrimming every single day or as much as we possibly can. So that helps go a long way of just getting our communication in line and how we actually want to play the game. Even without being able to communicate, just knowing what somebody wants to do without ever having to say it goes a long way in these games.
Oh, okay. So I absolutely, I love that. A team that's able to communicate without words is like a treasure. I feel like some coaches and GMs are like, oh yes, a team that can keep comms clean. So final question as we wind down, you don't have to tell me about any like secret picks or anything, but based on the matches you've seen today and probably what you've seen in scrims, is there a hero pick that you think is or will be slept on?
Yeah, we do have a couple picks that we think are, since the patch that came out this past Tuesday, I don't think as many teams have had as a lot of time to really flesh out some of the more broken picks that we expected to see. So yeah, there's a few heroes that we're going to be trying out in the next couple scrims and over the next week or so to be prepared for next weekend coming into it. I think some people are going to be surprised based on what they perceive as some of our players' champ pools. It's definitely going to be a little bit of a surprise coming out next week. I can promise you that.
Oh, I love to hear that. I can't wait to see it. Rooting for the Suns. I mean, I'm rooting for all of predecessor because that means more games for me. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to let you get back to your team. And Pred fans, I hope that once the event is over for today, you jump into your ranked games and you know that you can also do it. It's not out of reach. You can compete with the best of them. So take care, and I will see you guys next time.
Yo, Empress talking to all of you guys, not to me. I can't hang with these guys. I prove that pretty much every time I accidentally stumble into a Paracon lobby. But F6, 2-0 on the side of Sons of Tekken. They take down Bad Timing, who will have to compete tomorrow. Day one behind us now at this point. I want you to kind of reflect on what we saw today. What were your full thoughts on the day and kind of break this down for me?
Yeah, I mean, been here since 6 a.m. We started off great, everybody was having some cup of coffee. No, but going on to the actual stream itself, I mean, we got to saw a lot of teams that are newer kind of come in and kind of show themselves out. And as we go through the NA side of the bracket, which we just kind of left off with, is look at these guys' progress, right? There's a lot of teams in here that kind of showed up and showed out a little bit to kind of put themselves onto the spot. We definitely talked about Frog a lot. Big MVP. Maybe Bad Topic picks him up, but big, strong teams. We saw the returning teams that are coming in. They're still up there, still being the ones that you have to kind of go through, especially down that loser round 2 tomorrow, where we're going to really see these battles start to heat up.
Yeah, and there's still a lot of, good teams fighting it out and trying to advance to our next weekend spot. I want to highlight PX here, made it all of the way to this end, got 2-0'd by Spacecadets. We just saw Suns and BT. We saw C4 and Dread earlier too. So lots to look forward to tomorrow. Still some high energy teams and players going to be showcased tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, not just on the NA side, right? There's going to be the EU side where you guys get to go back in as well, right? From the EU side, I mean, you really kind of look at it, and we were talking about this earlier on in the day. We're kind of trying to find that team to really take down Nightshade EU, right? We're trying to find that team to be able to be competing against the team that has won back to back again and again. So, but we've seen some shows out today, right? We took a look at Hope. We took a look at some of the other teams as well. So, I mean, it was just an all-out blast of getting to see how these guys are able to kind of sync on up. And don't forget Many Mins, or just they're just called Benny Mins at this point.
They are, and thank goodness, because saying VVMHM, VVMM was getting very tough for this old brain that I am operating with. But we do take a look at this EU bracket. We'll have more EU games tomorrow as well. I saw some people in the chat. We usually start with the EU games just to respect their time zone, and then we move into our NA one. So if you're interested in seeing some EU pred, make sure you're tuning in early tomorrow, as we're starting at 10 a.m. EST tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much to unfold throughout this, right? There's a reason why we had to extend it another weekend, right? We wanted to make sure you guys, the viewers, we heard your feedback. We want to give you guys more of PCC. So the story continues tomorrow. I mean, we got a bunch of stuff, right? I mean, you're probably just going to hear me yap here a little bit, Lance, but we got day 2 of the predecessor stage, kind of the extended version of the Swiss Paragon stage in the EU side. And that's going to kind of come to a conclusion, right? We get to finally see those top teams go into that side end of the record, where we start to get to like what we call the mid game, essentially, throughout this kind of cast. And then we get to start to see these teams kind of thin out a little bit, seeing what to get there. But big shout out towards Omeda, adding the Victorious bundles in the game. But we also have a Victorious bundle core that you guys can utilize. And with the core, you don't get any doubles, right? You get something that you have not got. And if you already got everything, we love you and appreciate you. So make sure you guys do that to help support all of these competitive events. It's not just PCC, it's everything for the esports. Tune in, ! To the web store, get your 2 free quantum cores, get your Twitch drops, be here, you get your Twitch drops, it's free, you get free stuff, right? Everybody loves free stuff. And last but not least, I feel bad about not giving Plat for the last ending of the day today. So if you tune in tomorrow during the starting soon screen, we'll be giving away 3 plat codes for 1K. So if you missed some today, there's going to be plenty more as PCC goes on.
That is so true, F6. It has been a pleasure to be here entertaining all of my wonderful Pred obsessors. I have to get this in before the day closes. Type happy birthday, Bengal Mac, in the chat. He is extraordinary. He is an observer. He is an analyst. He is a caster here for PCC. Couldn't do it without my big boy Mac here. So get big happy birthdays in the chat for Mac. F6, close us out, bud.
Well, it's been a fun ride. It's been a long day, but we do it again tomorrow, and it's all for you guys at home. So I want to thank everybody that showed up. I want to thank the players for giving us your time. And I especially want to throw out a thank you to the PCC's crew in the background with Omeda as well. You guys all did fantastic. We're going to do it again tomorrow, and we're going to be even better. But it's been us, PCC, and we're signing off.